Welcome to another episode of In the Meadows podcast with your host Abdul Rahman. Today we have a special guest, Lee Flanagan, a dedicated careers advisor from My Path. Lee has been instrumental in guiding countless students and professionals towards fulfilling career paths. In this episode, we'll delve into the world of career guidance, explore current job market trends, and get valuable tips on navigating career choices. So without further ado, let's welcome Lee Flanagan.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Can you tell us a bit about your background and what inspired you to become a careers advisor?
Yeah, good question. So I've been working in education for about 14 to 15 years now. I've been a careers advisor for about, I think it's my fourth year. Working at Judgemeadow, so Jonathan North, but more recently I've moved to a private organisation called My Path, where I work across around 6 schools, one of which is still Judgemeadow, which is fantastic. The latter part of your question, did you say what was the reasoning behind?
What inspired you?
Inspired me. I think when this opportunity was presented to me, I think I was ready for a change, and I think that's quite common nowadays in careers.
So were you like a teacher or something before?
So I worked in pastoral. So I'd worked in 2 schools in pastoral, like your associate head of year type roles and things like that. But I was ready for a change, and an opportunity was presented to me. And I really like the idea of kind of helping people. Yeah. So the careers world clearly supports with that. But I think as well, when the opportunity was presented to me, I thought, you know what? I wish I'd have had some better careers advice when I was younger. And I thought, you know what? If I could be a person or an individual that can support people better than the way I had been supported, I thought, you know what, that could be me. And you know what, it's been a real good decision, and I really enjoy doing what I do.
What are some of the most common challenges students and job seekers face when choosing a career path, and how do you help them overcome these challenges?
That's a good question. Good question. Most common challenges. I think particularly school age children, it's really hard to know. How can you understand the working world if you've never dipped your toes into the working world? So obviously schools will try their best to really expose students to all pathways that are available, but it's really hard. So I suppose the most common, was it barrier you said, or challenges? Challenges. Yeah, I think it's the not knowing, but I think it's don't be afraid to get out there and actually use the resources that are available to you. So whether it's Unifrog, whether it's websites, whether it's family members, friends, just kind of start talking and just get familiar with things. And I think once you start that conversation, it feels a bit more normal and it's less daunting.
You kind of like sink into the environment of work.
Yeah, for sure. But I appreciate also at your age, I mean, you're in year 9, aren't you? Things are getting very serious at school, and you've got so many deadlines, and you kind of might think to yourself, oh, I'll have to park that over there, the career stuff. But actually, what we need to be thinking is, well, why am I at school? I'm at school because I want the qualifications alongside obviously holistic development. But, on the most part, my qualifications will help me get to where I need to be. So I think just dipping into the resources is the best way, to really start overcoming any sort of anxiety. But in terms of the way I help, a lot of the work I do is one-to-one careers work. So, it's not very often, you get to sit down uninterrupted for around 45 minutes in school with one member of staff discussing careers. Yeah. So I really, it's a real privileged position that I'm in. And I know that we've been in assembly this morning as well. So, I presented to your year group with regards to, I suppose, plans moving forward. And, so I'll do a lot of one-to-one work, but a lot of kind of workshop and assemblies as well to help people along the way.
How has the job market evolved in recent years, and what trends should job seekers be aware of?
In recent years, I suppose really, I think we're all very aware now of STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths, in terms of kind of the projected growth of those sectors. I think when we last checked on a very useful platform, Unifrog, which I pitched to you this morning, I think over a 15-year period, that sector in the UK is projected to grow over 40%. And I think that generates something like over 900,000 more jobs. So I think in terms of trends, that's massive. And of course, AI, being aware of kind of what's happening in technology, computer science. It's evolving at such a rapid pace that even though sometimes computer science might not be our thing, I think it's very important to be aware of those trends. And actually, my eldest son, he's 9, and as much as I'm not going to start talking too much about the careers world and the labour market, I do talk to him about being competent on computers because it's so important. So I think they're probably two key areas to be aware of in recent years, which I'm sure you're aware of anyway.
Yeah, because going too early in years, they wouldn't they wouldn't take in that information too vividly, to be honest.
What, in terms of computer science, AI, or STEM?
Careers, choices or guidances, because 9 years old, you're probably still in primary school.
Yeah, year 5.
Year 5, yeah. So
yeah.
There's not really much you can do with those careers unless you start to gradually get into secondary school. That's when
100%, mate.
Yeah.
That's a really good observation, because a lot of the careers work that's done in secondary school, or all of the careers work that's done in secondary school, is statutory, so schools have to do it, and that's why we have the benchmarks. But interestingly, primary school is on the agenda now, and as an organisation, MyPath, we've actually created lots of resources for primary age children, not to panic them or worry them, but just to start exposing them to jobs and ideas, because a lot of stereotypes, a lot of kind of opinions are formed in relation to careers at a very younger age, around 7 to 8 years old. So we're trying to support that so that people can, or students or primary age children can really begin to see that anything is possible, regardless of who you are, where you're from, background, heritage, diversity, etc.
What role do technology and digital skills play in today's job market, and how can individuals prepare themselves for these changes?
Well, that was a seamless transition from the last question, wasn't it? Good work. So the digital world, yeah. I think, I've got to be honest, I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes with tech. So when I'm sat in this studio, I'm like, how the hell has Mr. Chowdhury just set this up? I think it's amazing. But I think your generation are more aware, more au fait with tech, and I think that's massive. I think, like I've just said before,
because a lot of children nowadays are growing up with tech now.
Exactly. So me and Mr. Chowdhury, okay, hey, don't you laugh, we're not that old, but me and Mr. Chowdhury, perhaps we might have had a phone at school, but my goodness, you could make a phone call on it, whereas now you guys can do so much on your phones. You've got your tablets, everything has evolved, hasn't it? So I think you're more aware anyway, naturally, because you're exposed to it. But like I said in the earlier question, I think even if it's not your thing, like AI, etc., I think just being aware and just reading up on it and understanding where that kind of might take us. So for example, as part of my role, I will always, when I can, tune into Prime Minister's questions on a Wednesday lunchtime, because I often, you often hear about kind of projects that are on the horizon and where the government might be spending money. Will they be invested in this, which is linked to technology? So I think also being as aware as you can about politics to an extent at your age is quite useful, because you can then kind of assess potential trends. But I appreciate that's also a minefield, because obviously you have a changing government at times as well.
Yeah. Can you share some success stories of individuals you've helped, and what key factors contributed to their success?
That's a good question. I like to think that every conversation I have can be meaningful. You just hope that every student you work with takes a little bit away from that meeting and a bit of motivation. But if I was to think about a couple of success stories,
so that's someone that come back to you
interestingly, because I think because I work or have worked at Judgemeadow for a few years, obviously I've moved on now, but I also work at another Lionheart school, Beecham City Sixth Form, and
loads of the Judgemeadow students go there for college as well.
Absolutely. And actually, so you get a careers interview in year 10 or year 11, hopefully in year 10, and also in year 12. So I do the careers work, or some of the careers interviews, in year 12 at Beecham City Sixth Form. So I've seen students I interviewed at Judgemeadow, and I've then interviewed them again at Beecham City Sixth Form. And I remember at times where they were lacking a bit of confidence. Oh, will I get into Beecham City? Will I have the grades for, medicine. And you know, at times, you know, I'll be saying, come on, you've got to back yourself. You've got to believe in yourself. And actually, only last week, I've seen two familiar faces from Judgemeadow. And it was just a real kind of a bit of a pinch me moment, because I could see the energy, I could see the success, I could see their confidence. And now obviously they're considering, both of them actually, looking at medicine, you know, and obviously they'll make their application at the start of year 13. So yeah, you know, you hope that you're having impact on every student, you know, just giving them a little bit of information that they perhaps weren't aware of. But yeah, they're two, I suppose, more recent standout moments where I've seen students go from Judgemeadow to Beecham City, and they're thriving there, absolutely thriving, which is amazing to see.
Is there any key factors that contributed to their success?
I think for me, I mean, I'm very straightforward.
Was it just like themselves? They just had to push themselves.
Yeah, you know, I look at things very simple, actually. You know, very matter of fact, and I think just work to your full potential, fulfill your potential academically, but of course, don't underestimate the importance of things like work experience. So, you know, a lot of aspiring doctors, dentists, pharmacists that I work with, they are very aware of how competitive things are in terms of university applications. So, you know, the importance of getting like that really meaningful work experience on your CV, those sorts of things contribute significantly. And the two guys I'm referring to from last week, you know, both looking at kind of shadowing doctors. I think they've also enrolled, I know one of them is enrolled on a taster course with the University of Leicester, understanding medicine in a bit more detail. So I think, you know, to summarise really, work hard, believe in yourself, but also try and make your CV stand out in a slightly different way, because, you know, there's a lot of competition out there and we want to make sure that we're at the top of the pile, you know.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Lee. Your insights into career guidance and the evolving job market have been incredibly valuable. We appreciate the practical advice and inspiring stories you've shared today. To our listeners, we hope you found this episode as enlightening as we did. Don't forget to check out Unifrog for more resources and support in your career journey. Stay tuned for our next episode, and as always, feel free to subscribe, leave feedback, and follow us on social media. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
Thank you.